with Research, and I'm Susan Beyer, and I want to talk to you today about something that is just a really wonderful opportunity that you may not be incorporating into your research efforts right now, and you absolutely should. So when you run an online study or a focus group or whatever, one of the things you need to do is ask people if they would be willing to participate again in research or discussions about the topic that you asked them about the first time. This is an incredibly powerful way to do a couple of different things. Number one, to start building what is essentially your own research panel of people who are highly engaged with you and who can help you do all kinds of things like assess a new piece of content or creative, or give you feedback on a service you're planning to offer or the pricing for something that you want to do. Basically, you're building your own group of folks to do this with which makes it so much more affordable to continue to do research going forward, because you have a large group of people who are already opted in to participate in this kind of thing with you. I have seen clients turn a group of these volunteers of maybe, a couple of hundred people into over 10,000 participants in a research panel who engage at very high levels on an ongoing basis with the company. People like to be heard from, and there are folks who participate in your research who would very much welcome the opportunity to continue to engage with you as a company. People like to be heard, people like to feel that their opinion matters, and for people who really like brands, the opportunity to engage with them is often very valuable. The other thing this group can do for you is really be an advocacy engine for your brand, a word of mouth engine for your brand. If you have folks engage with your brand who really like you, the opportunity to engage with you and feel that they are part of something that you are doing can often drive much higher levels of word of mouth about their participation with you, their sort of special designation as an insider or as part of your sort of consultant group or whatever you decide to call it. They often talk about you much more positively, etc., and keep talking about you because they keep having engagement opportunities with you. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful now, so if you can get people talking about you in a positive way, that is a really good thing. So there's a variety of reasons to do this, and really they're all good. Even if for upcoming studies you want to include that group as only one subset of your respondents and still go out and get prospects and stuff like that, you can really build some insight into what you're doing and how it's affecting the people that you're trying to serve by having your own panel. You can do this even if your surveys are anonymous. So if you have an independent third party managing your surveys for you, at the end of an anonymous survey, this is what we do at Audience Audit, we will ask respondents if they'd be willing to participate in more research or discussions with the promise that their contact information is not going to be used to try to sell them something or anything like that, and that the responses that they've provided to the survey remain anonymous. If you have a third-party research provider, they can do that for you so that you get a list of these people with their contact information that they've provided and opted in for more research without compromising their anonymity by showing you the responses that they gave to the survey. If you're doing this on your own, one of the things you can do is after they've completed your survey, you can automatically redirect them to a separate survey that asks them this question and asks for their contact information. And because the two surveys are separate, you don't know what their responses were to the first survey. So if you don't have a sort of independent third party in the middle who can manage this for you, you can do it yourself by setting up sort of a second survey that they get redirected to provide their contact information if they want to further engage with you, and that still maintains their anonymity. So this is something that is really powerful and can grow over time a community of people who are very engaged with you. When we do surveys for Audience Audit, and our surveys are typically about 15 minutes long, which is a fairly lengthy survey compared to, answer 3 questions. Depending on the client and the situation and who we're surveying, right? Customers are more likely to engage in something like this than prospects are, but we'll typically get anywhere from 40 to 70% of the respondents of a survey to volunteer for more. And that is not only a great gift to you, but it's also a signal of how they found the experience of participating in your last survey, right? If nobody signs up, there's a good chance that they didn't like the survey that they just took. They found it cumbersome or difficult to answer, or it wasn't mobile responsive or whatever. So this can also be a decent signal for you as to how your survey is being received by the community that you're sending it to. So either way, if you're doing surveys, these can be customer satisfaction surveys or net promoter score surveys after somebody's purchased something from you. Please consider including a question asking them if they'd be willing to participate in more conversations and research with you. Tell them how you'll use their information, and equally as important, how you won't use it. Promise them that it will not be sold or used for any other purpose than what they've specified, and then honor that promise. And don't go back and give it to your sales force to try to hound people for something or add it to your newsletter list or whatever. Be very specific about what you want from them, and then be very faithful about honoring that, and by all means thank them for their willingness to participate. In addition to surveys that you send them, you might periodically send them a special coupon code or something like that that rewards them for engaging with you. So really great opportunity, very easy to implement. If you're not doing it now, I would certainly encourage you to add that to the surveys that you're putting out into the field. So I hope you find that helpful, and we'll see you next week on Fun with Research. Don't forget to go to funwithresearch.com. We've got other resources there, and you can submit questions about research that will be anonymously answered on the show. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for viewing.